Hey everyone, it's Emily, and today I am going to be talking about the books that I read in the last 2-3 years that put me in my biggest reading slump to date. It's pretty intense. So we'll just jump right in. This is pretty much like a roast, almost, of like the most popular YA authors at the moment. I don't know what I can say about that. I just really fucking hated these books. They were all really bad and terrible, and I mean, some of these authors are authors that I do really like. These are just bad books by them. So I think we should just get into it. I don't want to try and like fluff around too much and make this video longer than it needs to be. I do, however, want to preface this video by saying if you like any of these books, kudos, good for you. I just really don't like them. I just didn't enjoy them while I was reading them. I did not have a good time. I appreciate that other people like them. Some of these books are really, well, actually no, all of these books are really popular. So I know I could probably get a lot of flack and a lot of hate for not liking these books, but just remember that everyone's book taste is different. Everyone's story taste is different. What is my taste is different to yours. What you like is different. What is the word I'm trying to think of? You get what I'm trying to say. What I like is going to be different to what you like is going to be different to what I like. And I can honestly say that not everything from these authors, well, not everything from some of these authors I hate. It's just these particular books that I've read recently by them that I didn't enjoy. So I'm going to start with the series that will probably get me the most amount of hate, because why the fuck not? I'm expecting so many dislikes on this video. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So, the first series I want to talk about that will probably get me in a lot of trouble is Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I keep seeing good things about these books and good things that people are saying about them, and how so many people say that they love these books, they're their favorite books, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, okay, cool, I can respect that. I just fucking hated them. And it's gotten to the point where I'm kind of thinking like, should I reread these? Am I wrong? Am I broken? Constant question in my life. But I'm just gonna hold up Six of Crows, but it's the whole duology that I don't like. But if you don't like spoilers, don't watch this video. I'll say that much. So Six of Crows is like a classic heist story of a band of misfits getting together, breaking in somewhere, breaking someone out of somewhere, whatever. I don't think I've ever read a heist story before. So this was like my first heist story. This was my first introduction to Leigh Bardugo's writing, and I gotta say, didn't much like it. I found the heist stuff kind of lacked urgency. There were too many quiet moments when I feel like this could have been a lot shorter and a lot like more fast paced. I feel like that probably would have been better. A lot of people talk about the romance in this series, saying that it's amazing and it's so great. I didn't get that. I honestly, like, I could see the couples that she was setting up in this book, and to me, just didn't work. There was one couple that I think had met in the previous series, so the Grisha series, which is Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, Ruin and Rising. I think their relationship was set up in that book, so this was kind of like a continuation of that. I didn't understand it. I didn't think they had any chemistry at all. I didn't think that it made sense at all. There's a relationship in this between Kaz and Inej, and I can see Inej has like some schoolgirl crush on Kaz. I don't know what she sees in him. To me, he's just a fucking prick, and he really doesn't show her any attention at all. I mean, I guess you can kind of say that he does because he saves her a couple times, but to me, it comes off more as she's an investment, and he doesn't want to lose her for that purpose. And I guess you could say that like maybe that whole thinking turned into a romance for him, but I really did not pick up on that from his side of it. Inej, yes, but not from Kaz. And the other one that's hinted at in this is Wayland and Jasper. That is the only relationship in this series I was actually rooting for and actually cared about. Jesper was the only character I gave two shits about. Wayland was annoying, but him with Jesper was kind of okay. Like, I could look past the annoyingness. I just didn't like the writing, and I think that was the main issue for me, is just the writing. I felt like there wasn't enough emotion in it. It just wasn't descriptive enough for me. And maybe that's what people like about it. I mean, it was a quick read. I finished it relatively fast for me, and I don't know, I questioned getting the second book, but I'd seen so much good stuff about the series as a whole that I thought, okay, I have to get the second book, maybe it gets better. It didn't get better. I still didn't understand the relationships. I still didn't feel attached to any of the characters. There's a death in the second book that I just did not fucking care about, and I predicted it from like the start of this series. I knew it was gonna happen. I knew they were gonna try and make it into like a big thing, and it was just not a big thing. I just didn't fucking care. I didn't care about the relationship. I didn't care about that particular character. It just didn't do it for me. The whole series I felt was just shit. The writing was really just kind of bland, to be completely honest. I even tried to get my partner to read it, and this is how far he got, and then he pretty much gave up on it. I think he would probably like this actually, but he was just like, nah, you've said it's so bad, I'm not even gonna bother, which I kind of feel bad about. But I just really didn't like it. Feel free to hate on me there, but yeah, I just felt like it was just so boring. And I mean, look, kudos to Lee for having so much diversity and inclusivity in the book. There's black characters, there's Asian characters, there's a redhead, I guess she's meant to be curvy. I personally don't really feel like she was described as curvy or voluptuous. Maybe she was, but I don't remember it. So when I started seeing fan art for Mina, is it Mina or Nina? Maybe it's Nina. When I started seeing fan art for her and she was drawn as curvy, plump, plus size, fat, whatever you want to say, I was honestly confused. I didn't understand. Like, she talks about how much she likes food, but I feel like that shouldn't be the only thing that makes that character fat, curvy, plus size, whatever you want to call it. Because I know a lot of really fucking skinny people that really, really like waffles, and I'm like, okay, cool. I personally don't like waffles, but I'm fat. So like, how does that, I don't know. It annoyed me. There is also a gay couple in this series, and that was my favorite couple. I feel like that was the only couple she did well. So yeah, so that's what I think of the Six of Crows series. Next one, the next popular series. Actually, no, we'll go to an author that we'll talk about an author I actually like and do talk about quite a lot, and that is Cassandra Clare with Lady Midnight, or The Dark Artificers, whatever. I read this book. I finished this book. Did I finish this book? Hang on a second. Did I finish this book or did I not finish this book? Oh my god, maybe I didn't finish this. No, I think I finished. I'm pretty sure I finished this. Did I not finish this book? That would make so much sense, because when I started reading the second book, I was like, what the fuck happened? Motherfucker, I didn't even finish the fucking book. Oh my god. Well, if that doesn't tell you I didn't like it, then I don't know what does. Fuck. So obviously I didn't enjoy this book even enough to finish it, or to realize that I didn't finish it. All of this time, I thought I didn't finish this book. I thought I finished this book and just didn't like it, and that's why I couldn't remember the things that happened, so that when I started reading the second book, I was really confused and didn't know what was going on, and I thought, oh, it's just because I didn't like this book, I've just blocked it. I didn't fucking finish it. Okay, well, I'm gonna need to finish this book. I remember not really liking this. I didn't really care about it. I found Emma was kind of annoying. I think the Emma-Julian relationship was cute. Like, how he had like a secret thing for her, and he had this whole room full of artwork to her, which is cute, but also kind of borderline creepy. Just more that he didn't like tell her about it at all, or I feel like it was mentioned in here that he'd never painted her, and she was really kind of upset about that, or a little bit offended by it. She didn't understand, because they're like best friends, they're parabatai, which means that they're like connected in like this special thing. But anyway, yeah, she was kind of like, oh, he's never painted me. I wonder why that is. We're best friends. It doesn't make sense. Like, why wouldn't he paint me? And it was because he has this whole crazy secret room full of just portraits of her, and it's a little bit stalkery, but I don't know. I kind of thought it was a bit cute. The one thing that threw me off with this is there's like a part where they like have sex on the beach and like lose their virginity to each other, and it's all meant to be romantic. And then it came back to me that these characters are like 16, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. And I was really expecting to like this book because it was kind of inspired by the Annabel Lee poem by Edgar Allan Poe, which is something I really like, but I don't know, something about it just didn't feel right. And I don't know if maybe it was just that I read it at the wrong time, because it's an urban fantasy, so it's set in modern times, and I just hadn't read a modern urban fantasy in ages. I had been reading a lot of historical fiction, historical urban fantasy type things, if that makes sense. I guess, yeah, it just kind of threw me off that it was modern day again. But I mean, hey, I didn't even finish the book, so I guess I gotta finish it, and then maybe I'll read the second one and maybe I'll like the series. Such an idiot. Fire me already. I didn't even finish the damn book. I'm so angry at myself. You have no idea. I can't believe I didn't finish the book. Oh my god. Who's the dickhead? I am. So going on from Cassandra Clare, we have her friend Holly Black. So I only have the 2 books because I read the first book and I kind of liked it. I thought it was alright. I wasn't really comfortable with the relationship between Carden and Jude, but I thought, that's okay. Maybe it'll get better. It's nothing that I haven't read before. As you all know, I've read all of Sarah J. Maas's collected works, so this kind of weird abusive bullshit relationship I'm kind of used to reading about, unfortunately. So I thought, okay, well maybe it'll get better, you know, maybe it's gonna progress into something different. Then I read The Wicked King and I was like, oh no, it's just gonna get more fucked up. Spoiler alert, I don't even fucking care because I hate this fucking series so much. So it's written in first person present tense, which is fucking weird to read and I don't like it. That reminds me of another book. Where is that book? I'll have to grab that. So already off on a bad foot, but like I said, I read the first one and I didn't think it was bad. In this one, there is a sex scene. Again, these characters are like 15, 16. There's a sex scene between the 2 main characters, so Carden and Jude, where they get off on Carden saying how much he hates Jude. And I was just like, this is some weird, manipulative fucking bullshit. And I'm just not into it. I swear to God, I only finished this book because it's so short, and I kind of thought of getting the last book because whatever, it's short, like I can just finish it quickly, have the series over and done with, and then at least I've read the whole series and it's done. I don't have to worry about it again. After the end of this book, I honestly could not be fucked. I feel like all of the character development in the first book completely goes out the window in this book, and Jude goes straight back to being a dumb fuck, and she's a dumb fuck for the whole fucking book, and they try and make out that she's so smart, she's so cunning, and she devises this whole like secret plan to do all this stuff, and no, there's no planning, there's no subtle hints to anything. It's again another situation where the author is just holding information and, you know, keeping things from the reader so that you can't figure it out, so that then it comes off as the character being really smart. No, that's not a thing. Can we stop doing that? It frustrates me so much, and it just I didn't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the whole series. There's so many stupid characters that do nothing, so many stupid storylines that do just mean nothing. There's too many romanticized abusive relationships in this. The fact that people are so willing to shit on Sarah J. Maas, me included, but the fact that people are so willing to shit on Sarah J. Maas for her abusive relationships and then go and tell everyone to read this fucking crap, I'm like, what happened to don't romanticize abusive relationships, don't romanticize this shit. And then you're telling them to read this where the main characters hit each other and tell each other that they hate them while they're having sex and, you know, get off on the fact that they hate each other but they still want to fuck. Like, I don't understand. I don't get it. It's weird. This series is terrible. Do not let your teenagers read this series. Please, God, just burn it all. Which then leads me to our queen of abusive relationships, Sarah J. Maas. So, look, I'm not gonna lie. I was a huge Sarah J. Maas fan, completely blinded. The series down here, Court of Thorns and Roses, one of my favorites is, I don't know what to say. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the trilogy, thought it was really good. I was kind of, I don't know how, because I read them all so close to each other, but I almost going into the second one completely forgot that Rysand or Rhysand, whatever the fuck you want to call him, broke Feyre's arm in the first one. I don't know how. It just totally, I forgot. I didn't remember that happened until I finished the whole series and then was like seeing things online about it and I was like, oh, what are they talking about? And then watched a video and I was like, oh, fuck. He did break her arm. Oh yeah, he had that weird like sex thing with her where he would like drug her and get her to act all sexy and whatever, and like that was really kind of gross. I don't know how, but that just kind of slipped my mind while I was reading the rest of the series. I have no excuse for it, but honestly, looking back on it, it's fucking disgusting. But again, I bought this when it came out. It's a short little novella thing. It's fucking bullshit. Nothing happens in this. There's no plot. There's no storyline. There's nothing interesting. It's literally just them like setting up for Christmas / Feyre's birthday and her dealing with mental health issues or trauma from this war that happened and her sister's dealing with that and that kind of stuff. Like, I'm not going to say that it's not important topics to talk about, but I just don't understand why it needed a whole little pointless novelette type thing. I don't understand. I don't get it. I feel like this was just a money grab. All of the stuff in this could have been brought into the next book in the series that's coming out that's about Nesta, who's one of Feyre's sisters, and Cassian. I feel like it could have been touched on in that. It could have been added into the last book, or the last book could have been split into 2 books or whatever. This little novelette thing just really didn't need to happen. I think the only reason that this did happen was because the fans wanted an extra sex scene or some more smut. I don't even know, but this is fucking pointless. If you read the whole series or you read Court of Thorns and Roses, don't fucking bother with this thing. There's nothing important in there at all that won't be mentioned in the next book. Which brings me to Kingdom of Ash. So this is the, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8th book. This is the 8th book in the Throne of Glass series. I have been reading that series since it came out, since it first came out. Can't remember exactly when the first one came out, but I remember it was like just after I'd left high school. So I've been reading this for at least minimum 8 years. And the ending for this series was so fucking ridiculous and so fucking just bullshit. It's just really fucking long for what it was, considering the main character's in a coffin for a majority of it, and then it's just her being all quiet and silent and having this silent mental breakdown and not telling anyone about it. It just has every single fantasy trope that you don't want. A crazy OP character who then for some reason can't use their powers, so they have to do this other thing, and then the character sacrifice where she has to give up her life to save everyone, but then she doesn't have to give up her life to save everyone, and then she somehow manages to kill the big bad guy, and then all of his minions die at once, so they don't have to worry about them. And then when she gets the kingdom that she's been fighting for this whole time, the whole last 3 books in the series, and she's been fighting to become queen of this kingdom, fuck you. So when she finally gets to be queen of this kingdom that she's been fighting for the last 3 books, she decides, no, I'm not going to make it a monarchy anymore. I'm going to change it to be a democracy. And we can just have like a president and like a bunch of other people who work with me and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, so why the fuck did I read this series? It was just such a cheap ending, and I just was so pissed off, and all of the characters were paired up. There was like no single character left at the end of this fucking series. Of all the 13 characters, they all had a significant other, and then, what is it? No one died, so there was a huge war. Like this like whole chunk of the book is at 600 to almost 1,000 pages, so like 400 pages of a bloody war, a huge battle, and then like the least important characters in the whole fucking series die, and I'm meant to give a shit. What? How does that make sense? There's one character in this, okay, spoilers, I mean this whole thing has been spoilers about this book, but there's one character in this who's half fae. His dad is a fae, and he was brought up by his single human mother. There's all this drama about how he was raised by a single mother and blah blah blah. His dad was an asshole because his dad left and blah 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 blah. And then he meets his dad, ignores him for the whole fucking book. And then his dad dies in the battle. And then he's all like, oh no, my dad, oh, I'm so sad. And I'm like, why am I meant to care about this character I've just met in this book who had literally nothing interesting to say? Why do I fucking care? And there's like this witch, and she has like 13 little underlings, and you don't really get to meet all of them and get attached to all of them and anything, because they're her underlings and there's 13 of them, and there's already like 13 other main fucking characters in this book, and they're like, oh yeah, you're meant to care about all of them because these are going to be the only characters that die. So then they all die, and I'm like, am I meant to give a shit? Because I really don't. I didn't know anything about these characters, couldn't have told you what they look like when she described them 4 books ago. I didn't retain any of that knowledge. I don't fucking care about them. This whole book could have been that big and it probably would have been good. This whole lot didn't need to happen. It didn't need to happen. And I think I'm just so bitter about this book because I loved this series and I put so much time and effort into reading this series and talking about this series and trying to get my friends to read it and all of that stuff, and then it just had the shittest ending ever and people loved it and I don't understand why. I need to try and find the last book that I remembered while I was filming this because, oh my god, it was the book that set me off on this whole fucking I can't read anymore thing. Let me see if I still have it. Alright, here it fucking is. The book that did it all. Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. Oh my god. I hated this book so much. This book completely destroyed any want in me at all to read. It just like stabbed my creativity in the heart and watched it bleed out and die. Oh my god. So this series is now like 10 books long or some shit. I don't even know. It's such a huge series now and I couldn't even get past the first book. First of all, it's basically the Hunger Games set in a fantasy universe. Which is pretty much exactly how it starts out. It starts out exactly like the Hunger Games, where there's a girl in a family and they're fighting to survive in this world that everyone hates them because they have red blood and the world is run by silver bloods, and the silver bloods have powers and that's why they're above everyone else. And then I can't even remember what happens. We find out that the main character who has red blood has powers, and she's like, oh shit, this is gonna fuck shit up for everyone, and the royal family finds out or something and they kidnap her and bring her into the castle and tell her that she's gonna live as, everyone's gonna pretend that she's a silver blood, and they're gonna, you know, say that oh no, that's it, she gets a job at the palace. I think that's what happens. She somehow gets a job at the palace, and and then they find out she has powers because she gets thrown into something and she protects herself and uses his power. So she then goes and lives in the palace. They're like, oh, this red blood girl, she was kidnapped by a red blood family, but she actually has silver blood and blah blah blah. So then she's made up every day to be a silver blood and taught how to use her powers and whatever, and I don't know. And then she's like told that she's gonna marry the prince who's like second in line, and she actually has a thing for the prince that's the first in line, but he's, you know, closed off and is not interested, and oh, he's so angsty and blah, he hates being the prince and he doesn't agree with the segregation and the blah 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 and he doesn't like who he's betrothed to, blah blah blah. And there's like a twist at the end. Like, both of these princes are like all up in this girl's face all the time, constantly just wanting to like get with her, and she's just like not interested in any of them. Oh no, she is interested in the main prince. She wants to like bone him real bad, but he's like, oh no, we can't because you're betrothed to my younger brother and I'm doing this, and it's some stupid bullshit. So there's like a weird love triangle, which isn't really a love triangle, it's just stupid. And then you're not meant to be able to tell, but the younger prince is dodgy as fuck and is just using her and plans to overthrow his brother with his mother and take over and them rule the kingdom, and boring court drama bullshit. It's just so predictable. It was Hunger Games but set in a fantasy world with a royal family being like the capital and whatever, and it was just so predictable. I predicted the twist from like the second that the younger prince was introduced. Knew exactly what was going to happen. It was like, oh, my brother died, oh, we're all so sad, and it was like, oh, her brother's gonna come back and he has powers too. Lo and behold, her brother comes back and he has powers too, and then they go in this underground tunnel and find this whole underground society of red bloods with powers, and I'm like, is this not just fucking District 13? Like, this whole thing is just a rip-off of Hunger Games but in fantasy, and I was just like, what the hell? And it's told in first person present tense, which I'm realizing I really fucking hate. And so they're the books that did it to me. I've already talked about the other 3 books that I've read this year that were bad, and I don't know if I want to talk about them again. Just kind of over it at this point. I think I said in that video as well that I'm reading the new Cassandra Clare book, Chain of Gold, and I am actually enjoying it, and I've actually just dropped out of my book club with my friends, which is unfortunate because I was enjoying reading the same books as them and getting a chance to talk to them about them, despite the fact that I haven't liked any of the books. It was still fun, but I'm just finding that continually reading bad books, like, let me show you the extent of this. I'm a very slow reader. I don't read a lot of books a year. I'm lucky if I read 1 book a month. So for me to have, I don't know if they're all gonna fit, this many bad books in like one big chunk, that's a lot of bad books. This is every single book I have read since 2017. Not to now, because I haven't included what I've read this year, but this is every single book that I read between 2017 and 2019 that I hated, that I didn't like. But this is it. These are the books that I read. After each one of these books, I had to have a break because I just could not handle reading another bad book. That's a lot of bad books for reasons also other than just the fact that I haven't liked any of the books from the book club. I've had to drop out of it because I was just finding that reading the bad books was really affecting my general mental health, my creativity, it was affecting my writing, and just generally affecting my mood. Like, I've just been an angry bitch like for the last 3 years because I just feel so drained from putting so much energy into reading these books and just having them be terrible, and I just don't want to do it anymore. I want to read good books and books that I enjoy, but I'm also really struggling to find books that I enjoy. Like, I usually I go into the bookshop and I pick the new release, or something from the top 100 or something from the top 10, and that all of these books were from that section. That's where I got them. And they were all really bad. And I even, you know, I never used to, but after the first couple of bad ones, like after I think it was Kingdom of Ash and Cruel Prince, I even went onto websites and started watching book reviews and started reading, like, this is why I started watching booktube videos, because I kept reading bad books and I wanted to know if I was the only one feeling like this or if other people had felt the same about the books. And then I just found that, like, so many people were saying, oh no, this is my favorite book ever, it's so amazing. Oh no, this is my fucking favorite book ever, it's so amazing. And I'm like, is there something wrong with me? Like, am I just being overly judgmental, or am I just wrong? Am I reading a dodgy copy? Like, is this the wrong book in this cover? Like, I don't understand. I'm confused because YA fantasy was my genre. It's what I've been reading for, you know, since I was 13. I mean, I'm 25 now. So, like, maybe it's time for me to move out of the YA section. Maybe I should be reading adult fantasy now. But then I try and read adult fantasy and I'm like, I don't really like this either. So I'm lost at the moment and I don't know what to do. So if you have any book recommendations, send them my way. Let me know what you think I should read. I generally will read anything that is historical fiction, fantasy, paranormal if it's good. But I mean, if something is like really, really good, I would maybe read other genres. I've been told that I have to read Altered Carbon, so maybe I'll get around to that. I really want to read Brandon Sanderson. I have the first book in the Mistborn trilogy or Mistborn series. I need to read that. So I don't know. I don't know why these books were so bad, but they're so good for everyone else. Like, am I the only one that sees these books as bad? Am I alone in this? Like, someone please justify my feelings toward these books because I feel so lost. But anyway, I just felt like I had to have this rant. I don't know why. My channel is becoming very negative right now, but hopefully my mummy video made up for that because I feel like that was relatively positive. I don't know. That's it from me. I'm gonna put these books down and get my coffee. But yeah, so that's all from me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please stay and watch some more. I do live streams every Tuesday and Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Western Australian time. But yeah, I think that's it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to have you here. And hopefully I will see you in my next one. Bye!